Let's get a band. A band that you're willing to tie around your ankles, and a ball. Of course, everything's optional. Except showing up. So let's start out there. Let's take a seat. And start with the lower ribs. So once you take your seat, let's breathe into the lower ribs. But then breathe out from the lower ribs. When we get stressed, we tend to not breathe out. So for this practice, I want you to make sure that you take the time to breathe out. One more time, set your mind in motion. So now let's inhale overhead and exhale side to side. I want to talk a little bit about what is the mind. So as you're warming up and scooping the abdominals, and I said, set your mind in motion. What is that? The mind is what the nervous system is doing. You could think of it as thinking or making a decision or coming to a realization or a consciousness. So let's hold to one side. And I really want you to make big arm circles here. So for now, don't move the torso. Just stir the arm in its socket. It's okay if the shoulder blade moves, of course, but don't move the torso yet. Just get the arm and the shoulder woken up. And then dive down. Now we're going to twist the torso. So dive down and open up. We'll do a couple of these. What I said before was get the mind in motion. The mind is what the nervous system does. So a lot of times we get stressed. The mind builds these walls just like the muscles do. They're really all connected. They're all part of the same thing. So this time we'll inhale up and over to the other side. When you get there, stay, scoop the abdominals, and then big arm circles. Remember, just the arm. I want you to trace and figure out what that arm bone and all of the bony attachments are doing. Then begin to notice what the muscles. So the muscles have to get out of the way or start the movement. And the difference is the mind. So anything that you mind, anything that you're mindful of, is going to take effort. So now begin to open and close. This is where we dive down, and this is where we're now beginning to move the upper back and shoulder. Remember that our practice today is to finish exhaling. That when we get stressed, we tend to think, and by think I mean your like subconscious mind, the stuff that's going on without your conscious attention, thinks, well, what if I just held on to this breath I have? What if I just didn't get rid of it? And then you wind up with all this, carbon dioxide and stuff. Yesterday's breath in the tissues. So do a couple more like this with the idea that I'm accepting the body as it is today, even if it's not, whatever the thing is. So then this time, inhale up and extend back. Yes. And then come up and forward fold. So we're going to do some exercises today, some Pilates, some yoga stretches, but a lot of mindful movement. So again, let me remind you that the mind is what the nervous system does. The nervous system does things like sense pressures and pains and movements. And another thing your nervous system does is check. Roll over towards one side and take the trailing arm and really reach it. One of the things your mind does is check. So as I'm talking, part of my brain is listening and going, is that what you meant to say? Let's crawl over to the other side. And so that's when you say, wait, that's not what I meant. But the same thing happens with movement, but we can become oblivious. We stop paying attention to checking in on the movement. So breath by breath, accept wherever the body, whatever sensations, maybe even lean into those sensations without having to push them away. And then we'll roll back up. So now let's come off the blanket and start a little bit of Pilates. So remember, the essence of Pilates is mindful movement. So whatever you're doing it on purpose. So let's start with something simple. Bring the hands to the floor, however the arms want to be, so that you're just holding your body up. We're going to lift one leg. Just start with twisting the knee open and closed. Now begin to direct the foot. So what I just did is I put my toes together and pointed them so that it's like the foot is doing something on purpose, but also the leg. Now the core and the low back are squeezing in. So actually a lot's going on. So then twist open, kick the leg out and in. All right, I want you to imagine that your legs are arms, in that we control them like a little bit more consciously. Like they're part of, like we have 4 arms, I guess. And we're consciously pointing, flexing, lengthening, stretching, contracting, holding all of the leg muscles at once. So 3, 2, make sure those toes are doing something, and 1. Come all the way up, stretch that leg out, bend this other leg, and then come to forward fold. Let's take a little stretch on that inner thigh. Kind of come up and then crawl over towards that leg, and once again stretch. Always just be careful to not round the back. If you can only come halfway or a third of the way, if you can't even sit up straight, then let that be your stretch. Our goal today is mindfulness, to exhale completely and to accept where the body is today without the criticism of, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. Let's come back. I'm going to flip for some reason. Same thing. Lean a little bit back. Abdominals holding. Really, the arms aren't holding. Lift the other leg. We're going to twist the leg open and closed. The goal here is really not movement quite yet. It's to train the mind, the brain, to think of the leg as something that I have to control. There's something I have to pay attention to. So now pay attention to the feet. I'm going to close up those toes, and we call it point, so that my foot almost looks a little bit like it's curved. So it's just that I'm trying to do something on purpose. Scoop the abdominals, lengthen the low back. So then twist open and then just kick out and in. All we want to do in Pilates is be mindful of the movement, to be paying attention and to correct the little imbalances that the body has gotten accustomed to and thinks is okay. So 3, 2. Yeah, we'll put that leg down, come up, fold the other leg in, and then come to forward fold for an inner thigh stretch. So right now, clear out with this exhale. First of all, exhale, 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 exhale. But this time, clear out all of those ideas, all of the stories, all of those limiting conflicts, complications. So come up, twist towards the leg, maybe come back down, but again, really be careful to not overstretch the tissues of the low back. So just like I'm asking you to pay attention to what I'll call alignment and control, like we just did with the leg, do that same thing in these moments of stillness with the mind. So if you have all these scattered thoughts, just bring them together, bring them into the light, and then do nothing with them. Don't fix them. Just notice, yeah, there you are. And then we'll come back up. Let's come around into hands and knees. Let's do a little bit of what I call the walking pointer dog. This is where one arm and one leg reach. And then we alternate, and then the other arm and leg reach. This is one of my favorite warm-ups to get the back muscles. So you can imagine that part of that correction we do is we see ourselves sometimes. We see ourselves doing something. And we go, well, no, that's not right. I'm going to do it this other way. But we don't see our back. We don't see behind us. So what is your back doing? Is it being level right now? Are the right combination of muscles supporting your back? So imagine that all of your back muscles have like arms, and those arms are wrapping around the front body and holding it up. So then leave one arm, leg, and then crunch in. So elbow to knee round, extend out and lift up. So at first, just notice the back, the spine, and move it with articulate precision, meaning do it on purpose, that each vertebrae has a spot and a range of motion and a pattern of moving, and then the connective tissue has a range of flexibility or mobility, and then the muscles are working around all of that. 3, 2, and 1. Let's go to the other side. So stretch, yes, yes, yes. Squeeze in, loft the low back, out, kind of extends. Keep going. I'm reminding you of what we're working on. Articulating the spine in a controlled. So the possible range of motions in the spine, find the little spaces between each of the vertebrae, and control the opening and closing. 3, 2, and 1. Come all the way down onto the belly. Let's rest for a moment. I want to remind you, we're recording this so that you can do this, I don't know, whenever you want to do this again. We're going to do some Pilates today. We're going to do some exercise. So I'm going to go a little faster than just a basic yoga stretch session, so that if you're watching this later, you already know where I'm going. You won't get bored. So let's try this. Widen the knees. Brace the upper body. I don't mean, come up onto your arms. Just make sure they're holding there. Bend the knees, bring the heels together. You know this one. We squeeze the heels together, then lift the legs, and then down, and kind of relax the glutes. So squeeze, lift, down, relax. Squeeze and lift, and down, relax. Keep going. We're really waking up the glutes. In a moment, we're going to use the band and do some pretty tough leg exercises to really find the loop of the belt around the waist that's controlling the core, that's controlling the low back, that's giving that support, that muladhara, that firm root that I know where my safety security is, so that we can lean into today's trauma. I said a moment ago to accept, where you are, whatever's going on in your body and your kind of frazzled mind. So how about 3, 2, and 1. Let's roll on to one side. Hug the top knee into the chest. Give the low back a little baby stretch. And then the quad. So grab the foot and pull the knee down. We'll take this knee forward. Let's open and close the upper body. So take the arms in front like a closed book and twist open and close. Now I want you to be super careful here and really awaken to what your spinal nerves, the nerves coming in and out of the spine that are controlling the spine itself, are telling you about this stretch. So I said we have like categories of nerves. I started out this whole practice saying that the mind is what the nervous system does. We have categories of nerves. Some of them just control motion, like just do it. A lot of them, almost all the rest of them, are sensing and saying, this is what's going on. They're like little reporters going, this is what's happening. Here's the news flash down here in your toe. Twist open and hold this time. I'm going to stretch my arm way up overhead and get that side rib. And then part of your nerves are just checking and going, is that really what's happening? I meant to move into a twist, but am I actually doing that? So going along the theme of exhaling completely, exhale completely. When you're done, and not a moment before, inhale again. Going along with that theme, check. Am I doing the thing I meant to do? Let's roll over to the other side. I don't want to forget what we're doing here. So roll onto your other side. Hug the top knee into the chest. Give your low back some support, like I love you. I have nothing but glowing, wonderful things to say about you. And then that quad stretch, so grab the foot and pull the knee down. Your low back, in all honesty, really does work super hard for you, and you don't appreciate it. You're gonna go, yeah, you're supposed to do that. So give it a little bit extra appreciation. And exhale completely. Take the knee maybe forward, and then the open and close the book, arms in front, twist open, and close. Now I say open. Not every book opens up to 180 degrees, doesn't lay flat. And maybe if you open from the front of the book, it would be different than if you open from the back of the book. In other words, don't assume range of motion. It not only changes because your shape, everybody's shape is unique and not even, but it changes because of lots of things, densities of tissues, aging, and then of course the nervous system is teaching your body moment by moment how it should move. But if we're not paying attention, remember, anything we do mindlessly kind of hurts us, or at least can. So in a moment when I say, pick up the band and do all, and I start telling you 25 different things to do at once, don't do anything mindlessly. Okay, so twist open and hold. I'm going to reach this arm up, so I'm going to find those ribs. The more we practice breathing, the more we practice the breath becoming the anchor, the more subconscious it becomes, unconscious, so that we don't have to worry about it when times really are a challenge, when we really are elevated and anxiety has got you in its grip. Good luck, right? Good luck trying to breathe better at that point. And so when you're ready, let's roll up. Find the ball. I forgot to tell you we're going to use the ball. Let's just start with the ball. I'll add on in a moment. It's going to come to the side ribs, a little bit to the back. Again, if you don't have the ball, don't want to use the ball, that's fine. Because all we're doing is like leaning over the ball and coming back up. I'm going to hold my head. I'm going to hold my head like this so that I've got my head over the ball, back up. Now, let's say I don't have the ball. It actually is going to be a lot harder because you're not going as far. So your brain says, I must have to like hoist everything all the way up. You never have to hoist everything up. Just make the attempt. So again, I want to remind you that being mindful is paying attention to all parts of the nervous system. And that's a lot. That's trillions of nerves, at once. It doesn't matter if you're leaning a little bit back, that's okay. Don't get like all stressed about whether you're leaning forward or back. And then hold, like middle. I'm going to use both hands here. Take the bottom leg out. The back leg's just going to hold there. And do some inner thigh lifts. We already did an inner thigh exercise. So we're back to the inner thigh again today. Remember that the bottom leg is rotated like out, sort of like your toes are at the ground and your heel is up at the air, up at the sky. Don't let me stop you if you want to like combine those two movements. What matters though is that you're staying mindful of the pieces of the movement that are checking the loop, closing the loop. So it's not enough to just kind of throw your leg up and then let gravity pull it back down and go, I'm hoisting it and getting it up there where you want from me. I do want more. I want you to pay attention to, are you moving with like grace and fluidity? So 3, 2, and 1. So from here, let's go over to the other side. Whew. All right. Ball or no ball, right? It's okay. Don't lean on your elbow though. So what did we do? We lifted the upper body up and a bit down and over. Remember a moment ago I said that I wanted to work on my ribs, my lower ribs, because I wanted them to notice when they are doing something. Sometimes those ribs stay like closed, and even though those are the weakest ribs, I don't know how to say it. They're like the smallest, least attached ribs. Doesn't matter. They should still move. And in fact, they're so close to the diaphragm muscle, boy, oh boy, they should move. So I want that to be open and available so I can take in breath and possibly more importantly, expel breath. Let's call it breath. Because mostly what we need to expel are things we don't need, and probably would be toxic if they built up in our tissues. Toxic meaning not good for us, not like, you're not going to turn into, you're not going to become radioactive. I don't like that word toxic for that reason. It always reminds me of that. So when you're ready, stop. I'm always ready to stop. And let's get that inner thigh. Kick the bottom leg out, bend the back leg, lift and down. With fluidity, friends, with grace, and a little bit of gratitude to the low back. At some point, for me, that point is now, I've forgotten about the inner thigh because my abs have been lit this whole time. And now my abs are saying, when do we get to relax? And the answer is not yet. If you want to add in the, upper body too, whatever your foot is doing, do it on purpose. So I have to remind my toes, they all point very much in the same direction, to sort of curl my foot a little bit. Think ballerina foot. 3, 2, and 1. Ah. Let's come to the back and just stretch wall to wall. And then banana. Both feet, both hands to one side. Breathe out completely. And then the other side. Breathe out completely. Come back to center. And let's roll like a ball. So I'm going to hold on to the thighs. I'm not going to make it too hard today. And roll, roll, roll up and down the spine. Be super careful. Make sure your low back is puffed out, as puffy as it can be. Make sure you stop around your shoulder blades. Don't roll onto your neck or head. Do 3. Don't fling your legs too much. 2. Yes. Then come all the way up and come around into hands and knees. I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you. So I'm telling you, this is going to be a little bit of a challenge. Let's move into downward dog. Come onto the sides of the feet. Bend the knees and straighten them. Do that a couple of times. Bend and straighten. Boy, those abs. Then come back up and over to the other sides of the feet. So twist the lower body and same thing. Bend and straighten. A couple of times. And then back to downward dog. Pause. Paddle the legs. Let's bend one then the other. And then walk forward. Let's pull on the elbows a little decompressing of the spine, decompressing of the neck. Bend your knees. Hold on, this feels good. This feels better than hike plan. So hold on, that low back says, I like that support. It feels a little bit better. And then hands to knees and roll. Let's say the right leg forward, the back, left leg back, high lunge. So we'll do a couple of bend the back knees, down, up. Let's see if I can come up with a flow. How about down, up? Hinge the upper body, forward and up. Then lift the whole body up to almost like a warrior three. And then lift the back leg up, down. 3, 2. All right, we're gonna land in a high lunge. Go down, up, back knee goes down and up. Upper body hinges forward and up. This is where we lift off and back leg goes up. 3, 2, 1. Land and lunge. Come up and tip. Nose down, nose up. Lift off and glute lift. 3, 2, 1. How about one more time? Lunge down and up. Tip forward and back. Lift off. Glute lift. 3, 2, and 1. Let's switch. So stomp the left, step the right back. Just go down and up a few times, even on both sides. So a lot's going on, and it's really easy to become imbalanced here. So don't rush, even though I know I'm going a little fast. So here we go. Down, up, 1. Tip the upper body forward, back, 1. Lift off. Lift the back leg up 3 times. 3, 2. Lunge down, up, 1. Hinge forward, back, 1. Lift off. 3 glute lifts. 3, 2. Let's do this again. Lunge down, up. Hinge forward and back. Here we go. Lift. 3, 2. Sit into chair. So bring that leg forward and sit back. Hello, glutes. Inhale, come all the way up. Extend back. Inhale, back up. And forward fold. Step back into downward dog. Let's do this thing one more time. Remember this? Roll to the side edges of your feet. That is your hips twist. Bend both knees and come up. 3, 2, and then the other side. So twist and squat. 3, 2, and 1. Come down to hands and knees. Press back into child's pose. I'm going to thread a needle here and get that shoulder stretch. If you want, do that. And the other side, if you're doing something to one side, other side. Let the brain, let the breath, let the body recover. From here, let's roll up. So here's where if you want to add in the band, we're gonna take the band and the ball, same thing we did before, I'm just adding the band, wrap it around and tie the ankles. So keep the legs, I don't know, 6 inches apart. Make a bow in your band, unless you want to work on taking that knot out later. Here we go. We're gonna same thing we did before. I don't know if you remember. We were on the ball, so ball or no ball, same story, band or no band. Stretch legs out this time. Reach the top arm over this time. Both the arm and the leg, the top leg, come together and then stretch out. So this is all about the outer hip and the ab that supports it. Lift, squeeze. Try to squeeze the lower ab, the one, on the side of the ball as well. Try to exhale completely. Use your breath to fuel the work. Educate the muscles. So the muscles are there going huffity puffity. I'm doing my best here. Ask just a little bit more of them. Ask them to pay attention too, not just the pain. I know there's a little bit of pain here, so we'll do 3 more here. But ask them to pay attention a bit to what are they learning? What are they doing differently? Or what could they do differently? And 1. We'll stretch that, but not yet. Flip all the way to the other side. Same thing, same thing. I don't want to make this too complicated. Here we go. Stretch and lift. Arm and leg come together. Squeeze. Almost think navel to spine instead of arm to leg. Keep opening the vents, opening the slots that take in energy, all the valves, and then squeeze out all the excess, all the stuff you've already created. Keep clearing the slate and starting again. You can do it. You can do anything. I know you. You're powerful. I'm proud of you. You're proud of you. 3, front to back, squeeze navel to spine. 2, last one, last one, last one. 1, good news. We'll take the band off. I'm regretting. Let's just come to the back in a figure 4 stretch. Let's cross the ankle. Pull it in. Give it a good deep inhale and a long but complete exhale. And then switch sides. You worked really hard today. You always deserve comfort and healing and rest, but you're really going to appreciate releasing, allowing, softening. I want you to imagine that all the channels of energy in your body have been cleaned, cleansed, opened, released. Do that. Imagine all the channels of your body have been cleansed, opened, and released. Almost every part of you has the ability to contract, to close off, to hold, to brace, to protect. I want you to imagine you don't need that now. Good. So from here, move all the way into Shavasana. I'm going to get closer and whisper, but I'd like you to find a pose of complete comfort. Good. So coming all the way down, get comfortable. Surrender to receive comfort. Begin to release everything you have been holding, everything that has been binding, compressing, pulling, pushing, pressing. You are now free. You are liberated from the constraints. Whatever you have been protecting because you have been through challenges is now automatically protected. You are safe. Everywhere in your body, you are safe. Let the hard work slowly penetrate into all the depths of mind and body. You feel calm and alert. You feel still but resilient. All of the benefits from your practice are seeping in. I want you to imagine a light from above, and it's a broad, wide light, and it's white. And as the rays of light penetrate your skin, your body breaks it up into colors. And then these little particles of light shimmer, move, vibrate, and travel. Through organized channels throughout your body. And the different colors of light represent qualities, attributes, or strengths. Different actions your body needs to take to heal. So imagine that there might be blue particles of light that settle into your throat and your heart, calming and soothing harsh words or painful emotions.
Imagine maybe greens or yellows settling around your chest, your ribs, your lungs, like the unfurling of a leaf or a flower in springtime. I want you to choose another color. Bring it to a part of your body to infuse that body part with what it needs. Now imagine that some of that light gathers up above your head and returns to white. And that this represents all of the other colors coming together in a way that heals your spiritual condition, this thing we call life. So at once it becomes a result, but also a source of continued healing. I want you to feel the effects of this radiant white light just above you. I want you to feel that you can absorb it. I want you to feel that you are creating it. Fully experience this moment of calm. Witness the miracle of feeling restored now. And so begin to roll to your side. And when it's time, open your eyes. Without losing that feeling of restoration, come all the way back up. So you and I together now take a seat, connecting the root to the crown, and then inhale and stretch up. And exhale, collect the energy in front of the heart. Namaste.